Welcome to Monday. For the average American worker, Monday seems to be the most despised of all the work days. You can even buy t-shirts and coffee mugs that say, "I hate Mondays." You ever wonder how Jesus felt about Mondays? Over the next few days, we're going to take a few moments and look at the events of Jesus' last week leading up to the crucifixion. Throughout the history of the church, this has been known as Holy Week. I invite you to come and take this journey with me. Honestly, I don't think Jesus was particularly worried about being Monday. He was on a mission and knew that time was short. He was determined to use whatever time he had to get the job done. Today, Jesus is making his way to the temple. Matthew, Mark, and Luke all record the significant event of this day, with Matthew giving us more detail than the other two. Jesus is coming to cleanse the temple. He will drive out the merchants who have set up shop in the temple courts with their livestock and overturn the tables of the money changers. With Passover only days away, business would have been booming. Pilgrims and worshippers will have come from great distances to attend the Passover feast. Such distances will have made it impractical to bring the required sacrifices, so enterprising merchants have filled the need by arranging to sell the needed animals right in the courtyards of the temple. It should be a very profitable arrangement. Even those charged with overseeing the temple administration may have shared in the proceeds. There's also the matter of the temple tax that could only be paid with a very particular silver half shekel. The Roman coins commonly used in that day would need to be exchanged for the specific type of coin. So tables were set up where you could exchange those Roman coins for the silver half shekels. This made it for a very profitable exchange rate and likely was shared by both the money changers and the temple administration. It's into this setting that Jesus walks and immediately drives out the livestock merchants and overturns the money changers' tables. Just imagine the commotion that this creates. Business as usual has been disturbed. Jesus explains his actions by quoting from the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah. From Isaiah he says, "My house will be called a house of prayer." And from Jeremiah he says, "You have made it a den of thieves." While Matthew and Mark and Luke all record this event, it is not the only time that it happens. The second chapter of John's Gospel describes an earlier time at the beginning of his ministry when Jesus took similar action, declaring that the zeal for your house will consume me. He was quoting from Psalm 69. There was much about the current temple that must have grieved Jesus. Not only had its courts been turned into a marketplace where worshipers were exploited by those whose greed overshadowed the worship experience, changing its focus, but the temple itself was in the midst of a lengthy remodel and renovation process that had been begun by King Herod. While it was supposed to be a gift of goodwill by a pagan king, it also introduced many Greek and Roman designs and influences to the structure and grounds. Rather than being a place for God's glory, it was becoming a monument to Herod. Jesus once told a Samaritan woman that true worshipers would worship God in spirit and in truth. And he is putting action to those words. It's at this point that Matthew tells us that the blind and the lame came to Jesus to be healed, and children came shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." The chief priests and the teachers of the law were indignant and looked for a way to kill him. Welcome to Monday.